It's a Spotify podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Loopwired Daily on Resilience Radio. Today we're talking about Theodore Roosevelt. The day the light went out. The light has gone out of my life. 7 words. That was all Theodore Roosevelt could write. No speech, no explanation, no attempt to sound brave. Just 7 words scratched into a journal page on February 14th, 1884, Valentine's Day. The light has gone out of my life today. Theodore Roosevelt is remembered as one of the most influential presidents in American history. His face is carved into Mount Rushmore. His name is associated with strength, courage, leadership, the Rough Rider, the adventurer, the man in the arena. History remembers his legend, but that's not the story most people know. What history rarely talks about is the day Theodore Roosevelt became a widower. The day he became a grieving son. The day he thought his life was over. Because long before he became president of the United States, he was simply a young husband in love. 25 years old, a new father, a son, a man standing on the edge of what seemed like a bright future. And then, in a matter of hours, that future disappeared. It started with a telegram. Short, urgent, no details, no explanation, just a message telling him to come home immediately. Anyone who has ever received a late night phone call knows that feeling. The moment your stomach drops before your mind understands why. The moment your imagination begins racing ahead of reality. Questions arrive before answers. Who is hurt? How bad is it? Can it be fixed? Is it too late? Roosevelt boarded a train and began the journey home. Outside the window, winter rolled past in shades of gray. Snow-covered fields, dark trees, small towns. Disappearing into the distance, inside the train car, there was nothing to do except think. And thinking became dangerous when fear is driving. Maybe it's not serious. Maybe they're overreacting. Maybe everything will be fine. The human mind clings to hope long after hope begins slipping away. Hour after hour, the train pushed forward, each mile carrying him closer to something he couldn't yet see, something he couldn't stop, something that would divide his life into 2 parts, before and after. When he arrived home, the house felt different. You know that feeling? The feeling when you walk into a room and immediately know something is wrong. Nobody has said anything yet, but the air feels heavier. Conversations become whispers. Footsteps become softer. People avoid eye contact. The house already knows. His mother was dying. Typhoid fever. Family members stood around her bedside waiting, hoping, praying, knowing. Roosevelt entered the room and he saw the woman who had been there since the beginning of his life. The woman who raised him. The woman who comforted him when he was sick. The woman who believed in him before anyone else did. And now she was slipping away. There's a helplessness that arrives when someone you love is suffering. A realization that there is some battles no amount of determination can win. No amount of money, no amount of influence, no amount of effort. Sometimes all you can do is stand there and watch. And as devastating as that was, the worst news was still waiting. Because his mother wasn't the only person dying. His wife, Alice, was dying too. Not across town, not in another city, not in another hospital, in the same house. One floor away, his mother upstairs, his wife downstairs, the two women he loved most in the world, dying at the same time. Try to imagine that, not as history, as reality. Imagine walking upstairs to say goodbye to your mother, then walking downstairs to say goodbye to your wife. Imagine not knowing where to stand, not knowing which room to be in, not knowing how to divide your heart between two impossible losses. Some pain is too large for language. This was one of those moments. That afternoon, Theodore Roosevelt's mother died. Hours later, his wife died too. The same day, the same house, Valentine's Day. 25 years old, a new father, a grieving son, a widower, and in the span of a few hours, everything he thought he knew about his future vanished. Gone. The plans, gone. The certainty, gone. The life he thought he was building, gone. That night, he opened a journal. What do you write after a day like that? How do you summarize devastation? How do you explain grief? How do you put heartbreak into words? He couldn't. So he drew a large X across the page, and underneath it, he wrote 7 words. The light has gone out of my life. And maybe you've had a day like that. Maybe not the same day. Maybe not the same loss. But a day that divided your life into before and after. The day of the diagnosis, the day of the funeral, the day someone left, the day everything changed. Because every person eventually discovers a painful truth about life. The strongest people are not the people who avoid suffering. They're the people who survive it. And Theodore Roosevelt was about to begin the hardest chapter of his life. Thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of Resilience Radio. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless and good night.
You pushed me down, thought I'd stay on the ground, counting me out like the numbers didn't matter. But pressure builds diamonds in the dark, and I've been sharpening my edge in the chatter. Every scar turned into strategy, every setback fueled my clarity. I took the hits, learned the game, turned my losses into flame. Now I'm coming back strong, and you'll remember my name.